What is happening, baby? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Huddle Chat Sports Show presented by yours truly, your host, as always, Dallas Clark, also known as Indo is my Nindo. Will y'all believe that this is the first episode of the fourth season, the fourth year of this show? Man, it's crazy to think of where we started and where we're coming to now, and we are only going to be getting bigger and better. I'm happy to be back with y'all. We're going to be talking about all the things that we've been missing over the last little bit. I mean, right now, as a sports fan, it's kind of the second best time of the year. I mean, of course, we already know what the most wonderful time is of the year, and we're going to be getting into that very soon. But this is the second best time of the year. We got the NBA playoffs in full swing. And I mean, can we just sit and talk for a second? Can you all agree with me in saying that this first round of the NBA playoffs that we just got treated to was one of the best first rounds of the NBA playoffs, at least in recent memory? I mean, and now going into the second round, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have one of each 1 through 8 seed being represented in the second round of the NBA playoffs. We had so much drama, so many different storylines, so many good matchups in that first round, a lot of different upsets, a lot of surprises, and a lot of things that happened the way we expected it to happen. I mean, the NBA playoffs have been going amazing. The Stanley Cup playoffs have been getting absolutely intense. I'm not a huge hockey fan. I watch sports all the time. Hockey is one of those that I watch when there's not another sport to watch on at the current moment. But it's hard to deny the Stanley Cup playoffs, man. It's always a fun time to watch. And these Stanley Cup playoffs have been absolutely captivating. And then you got baseball season going on in full swing. There's so much going on right now as a sports fan. It's hard not to be absolutely just enamored by everything that's going on in the sports world. And then, of course, to cap it all off, we get the beautiful event held by Kansas City. Shouts out to Kansas City. That was an absolutely amazing NFL draft that we just got treated to. And that was a great NFL draft, lots of great prospects, and it looked like a really fun time. And so today here on the Huddle Chat Sports Show, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting into the first of many NFL draft recaps and offseason recaps for all 32 teams in the NFL. So if we're not talking about your favorite team today, make sure you check us out tomorrow. So make sure you are already, if you haven't already, please make sure you drop that subscription, hit that notifications bell. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you hit that follow button. And please, you do not understand how much a simple like, that 1 millisecond it'll take out of your video right now to drop a like down here in the corner. It will help me so much more than you even imagine. And it'll help me even more if you might even tell a friend about it. Have a friend come out here, check out the Huddle Chat Sports Show, recommend it, and who maybe knows, we might even be doing a little refer a friend program going on here at the Huddle Chat Sports Show. So before we get into all the NFL draft news, everything important that just happened, the first of all 32 NFL teams, today we're going to be talking about, of course, my favorite, the Indianapolis Colts. Why not start at the top and then work our way down? My favorite. I'm not saying we're the the cream of the crop, but I am thinking that we do have one of the best NFL drafts. So make sure you stick in through the intro to find out why I'm so excited about the Colts draft this year. And we're talking about the first of all 32 teams. Now, before we get into it, I've got to give a big shout out and a big thank you to those over at Dank Life Clothing. We already are getting the Huddle Chat Sports Show merchandise coming in. Our first packages of many. We got a couple different t-shirts. We got a couple different things coming out. So we're going to have a Huddle Chat Sports Show store opening up here very soon. You're going to be able to buy different merch, different things. And also make sure you hit up Dank Life Clothing for all your personalized sports needs. If you have a youth sports team, a professional sports team, anything, a chess club, a bowling team, anything that you're trying to get personalized, or if you want to just scroll through and see what they already have, make sure you check out Dank Life Clothing on Facebook at Dank Life Clothing Brand, and you can get you some of that hot new Huddle Chat Sports Show merchandise coming very soon. Also, we do have a couple of extra things from Dank Life that we're going to be giving away soon, starting since we're in baseball season. with this nice, hot, and also cold at the same time Tampa Bay Rays nice tumbler. It comes with a straw, keeps your drink hot, keeps your drink cold. If you're trying to take a frozen margarita to the pool during the summertime, we definitely got it for you. So this is one of the many things you can get from Dank Life Clothing Brand, and we got free, say it with me, free stuff here over at the Huddle Chat Sports Show. So if you know a Tampa Bay Rays fan, you are a Tampa Bay Rays fan, you know a Tampa Bay Rays fan, make sure you tag them in this video. Make sure you drop a comment down here, a like on the video. And if you are following us on Twitter or Facebook, we are going to be doing a giveaway for the Tampa Bay Rays stuff. And we also have a few more. We have a couple football ones. We have a couple different things that we'll be doing giveaways on. So make sure y'all stay tuned. And we're going to be giving out a lot more information on these Dank Life Clothing combination with THC Sports brand giveaways. So now that we're done with all the announcements, all the fun stuff, let's get into the important stuff. But before we can do that, as always, y'all, I mean, it's been 4 years. Y'all, we don't change much around here. The hair might be getting more glorious, but we don't change around here, y'all. So if you do, there is no peer pressure if you don't. But if you do, now is the time that I invite you to smoke them if you got them. Let's roll up these hot takes and let's get right into the news, baby. Now, of course, starting off this Indianapolis Colts draft, you can't bypass it without bypassing the biggest story of the Indianapolis Colts draft. The Indianapolis Colts drafting their potential new quarterback of the future in Anthony Richardson from Florida. I am absolutely in love with the pick. I really think that I would have been much less happy if we would have got Will Levis over Anthony Richardson. And now only time will tell. You know, in 6 months, we'll cut this video back and see how I'm feeling. In 6 years, we'll cut this video back and see how I'm feeling. But this is probably one of the happiest that I've ever been as a Colts fan, like a few days after the draft before really getting to see anything. I think ever in my entire time being a Colts fan, in my entire 27 years of life, I really do think that this is the happiest that I've ever been with an Indianapolis Colts draft. I mean, I've been through the Andrew Luck draft. I was a little young to really say that I've been through the Peyton Manning draft, but I've been through a quarterback of the future draft. It's more than the quarterback of the future, but we have to start here with that 4th pick in the draft, the first pick that the Colts had, taking Anthony Richardson out of Florida. He draws a lot of comparisons to Josh Allen, but he also draws a ton of comparisons to Jalen Hurts, not just because of the similarities in the way that they play football, but also because Jalen Hurts was kind of molded, or at least assisted in the molding process by the Colts' new head coach. Shane Steichen was the old quarterback coach in Philadelphia and kind of helped Jalen Hurts along the path to becoming the MVP caliber Jalen Hurts that we know today. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. At least we all know going into 2023, Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks going into the league. And hopefully we can get something like that from Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson was one of the most polarizing prospects throughout the entire draft. All 256 players that were drafted, Anthony Richardson was one of the ones that popped off of the page the most. He, out of all the quarterbacks, has the highest potential ceiling of all of the quarterbacks that were drafted in this draft, but he also has the lowest potential floor. Anthony Richardson is the definition of a boom or bust pick. It's really all about how the Colts and Anthony Richardson approach the future and the coming, not just 6 months, not just 6 years, but the coming future for this young man. I mean, when you're looking at who Jalen Hurts was before coming out of college, one of his biggest knocks was that he was a below 60% passer. One of Anthony Richardson's 2 biggest knocks coming out of the draft was that he threw 54% completion in the low experience and the small sample size that we did get from Anthony Richardson. Now, with the work that Jalen Hurts was able to put in, with the system that Shane Steichen and the Philadelphia Eagles did have Jalen Hurts in, Jalen Hurts was able to turn that around and become a above 60% passer, 65% passer, and that's good enough to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You're looking at what the athleticism Anthony Richardson brings to the table. He's definitely the most athletic quarterback. He has some of those things that you can't teach a quarterback. The problem with the quarterback position is that a lot of the things that make a quarterback a great quarterback aren't measurable. So as far as the measurables of the quarterback in the combine, Anthony Richardson has the best measurables of all the quarterbacks. The best stuff that you can't teach, that best just natural born gifted ability. The young man runs a 4.40, and he's not even in his athletic prime yet. He's only going to get bigger. He's only going to get stronger. And he also had the strongest arm out of all quarterbacks in this year's draft class. The athleticism is out of this world, and the extra level that he's going to bring to the Indianapolis Colts offense is going to be insane. Like I said, he is definitely the definition of a boom or bust pick. He does have the strongest arm in the class, like I said. Some of his strengths are that he's got the biggest body of most of the quarterbacks in this draft. He's a huge threat in the running game, and he's massively elusive despite how big he is. He gives you kind of Cam Newton flavors when he gets into the open field. You do not want to let this young man get in the open field. But after all of this being said, he's a pocket quarterback with mobility. He's great inside the pocket. Now, some of his problems are that he does get a little antsy inside of the pocket. The great thing about Anthony Richardson is that he's already been able to self-assess. He already knows what his biggest weaknesses are and what he needs to work on. And it will all be up to not just Anthony Richardson putting into the work, but the Indianapolis Colts being patient with him and going and trusting the process to really see and let this young man flourish into the potential quarterback of the future that he really could be. I'm really excited about this Anthony Richardson prospect that we got, and I'm really excited to say that I truly think that we might not have to have a new starting quarterback next year. I mean, we've been going, 7 years straight now with a new starting quarterback on week 1. I don't think we'll hit 8, y'all. That's all I'm saying. Now, moving on to the next pick in the draft for the Indianapolis Colts will be Julius Juju Brents from Kansas State. The great thing about this young man, the first thing that you look at on the cornerback position, secondary position, is that he's 6'4". That's a rarity when you're looking at cornerbacks. Most cornerbacks, you don't really get that level of size in a defensive back. He's really lengthy. He's got great wingspan. One of his biggest problems is that he lacks explosiveness out of his acceleration. With his long legs, his long strides, he does get up to speed. It just takes him a second to get up to speed. So he does operate best in a zone coverage defense, which the Colts do run zone coverage more than they do man coverage. When he is in man coverage, he does operate the best off of a press and being able to jam his receiver at the line because he's not able to match that speed of some of those faster receivers, especially those ones with that acceleration that can boom right off the line. But he's great in press coverage, and he's also an amazing open field tackler. It's been said that some teams may have even wanted to draft him to play free safety because he's such an elite open field tackler. And that's exactly what the Indianapolis Colts need, is somebody that can make those tackles downfield. When you do get past that really tough defensive line the Indianapolis Colts have, that linebacker core the Colts have, they're going to need somebody to get that open field tackling if you can get past that. He's definitely a great athlete for the size that he brings, and just bringing that 6'4", that large frame is definitely going to be big for the Colts in that secondary. Now we're going to be moving on into their third pick in the draft. The Indianapolis Colts did make a lot of trades in this draft. We had one of the most, the highest amount of draft picks out of anybody in this NFL draft, just due to trades that we made during the NFL draft. We flipped a lot of picks and turned them into a lot of really great prospects. One prospect that I'm extremely excited about coming out of this draft is going to be Josh Downs coming out of North Carolina. I see a lot of first downs in the future for Josh Downs. Now, the problem with Josh Downs is he's got a smaller frame. He's 5'9", about like 185 pounds. He's not as big as you would like. But when you watch him on tape, he does play bigger than that. And a lot of it is in part to his explosive athletic ability. The man has a 4.4 speed 40. He also had a 38.5-inch vertical. The man, he kind of gives you like Tyreek Hill vibes with how explosive he is. With that smaller frame that he does have. But mostly, if there's an NFL player that I've heard that I've seen a comparison more than anything, is Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks. Josh Downs can be used on special teams if he doesn't have an open enough role on the offense for the Indianapolis Colts, or we just need help on that third level that so many people often forget about. We have lacked an explosive kick returner, especially losing Nyheim Hines last year. So Josh Downs definitely can be used, especially with that explosiveness, that great speed. Some of his biggest problems is that he lacks some physicality. He does need to add some size, some strength, but that comes with most NFL prospects that you're going to see. But I'm really excited about the prospect. If you're looking at Josh Downs and Paris Campbell, then you're looking at Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. We got the two small, fast, slot-style wide receivers, the two big possession, take-the-field wide receivers. And then you even have our young Jelani Woods at tight end, who really is he's an absolute giant out there. We have a great mixture of wide receivers. And Anthony Richardson, like I said, had the strongest arm out of all the quarterbacks in this year's class. So we're going to be able to do what we haven't been able to do for a little bit and stretch that field this year. I'm really excited to see what we got in these new prospects. One of the other prospects that I'm really excited about for the Indianapolis Colts this year, I know I keep saying really excited, but like I said, I just have not been this satisfied with the Indianapolis Colts draft. I don't think my entire time being an Indianapolis Colts fan in over 20 years. Now, like I said, I'm really excited though about Blake Freeland, left tackle from BYU. First of all, Blake Freeland is absolutely massive, and the Colts do have one glaring hole in their offensive line, and it's been a struggle. It's that left tackle position. Since we lost Anthony Costanzo a few years back, we tried to replace it with Eric Fisher, but now we got Blake Freeland moving in there. I do think that we are eventually going to be able to move Raymond from last year down into the guard position, potentially, depending on how everything works. Of course, these are all we're trying to predict the future just off of what we've been given here. But anyway, like I said, Blake Freeland is absolutely massive. The exact body style you'd want in a left tackle, the blind side offensive lineman. He's got great footwork, absolute twinkle toes out there on the offensive line, and he's extremely athletic. And one of the things that I love the most is he's a beautiful run blocker, and he's going to do nothing more than help the Indianapolis Colts and Jonathan Taylor show that Jonathan Taylor should be the reigning rushing champ in the NFL year after year after year, as long as we can maintain the offensive line with men like this. You're looking at him, you'd like to see him work on being able to block speed rushers and pass protection a little bit better, but that's going to be something that we're going to be able to work on with him, get his hands working a little bit better, but and also adding on a little bit more weight, a little bit more strength would be amazing, but that's just going to be with him getting his quote-unquote man body. But he explodes off the ball. He has high athleticism, and his handwork is already really good. He just kind of does struggle against speed rushers in pass protection. Like I said, he will need to add length or add some weight. And because he's such a tall man, he's 6'9". Since he's such a tall man, he does have a long frame and needs to work on staying low sometimes. Sometimes that center of gravity does get a little too high, which allows him to get pushed back. So that's just all natural things you're going to be working on with a young offensive lineman. But I'm definitely excited. This is somebody that is going to be a staple in the Indianapolis Colts offensive line for the next few years to come. But now that we've got a lot of the most important picks out of the way, we're going to kind of fly through these next ones. And I'm hoping to impress y'all with this next one. The 5th pick for the Indianapolis Colts, Adetomiwa Adebawore. He did run a sub 4.5 40 as a defensive lineman. Y'all see how I just pronounced that name and just rolled right through that. I couldn't let y'all not notice that. That was an absolutely beautiful pronunciation. Somebody let my man know about that. Anyway, like I said, he's a freak athlete, can be played a lot at the defensive end, which I think we're going to kind of need him there. We're looking at him kind of competing with Samson Ebukam. The man is fast. He's 4.5 40, 6'4", 280 pounds, and he's very athletic. He's explosive off the ball, and he's a great speed rusher. I'm definitely excited about the prospect of this young man and seeing what he can do after preseason and minicamp and kind of getting adjusted into the NFL life. Now, our 6th pick in the NFL draft, and one that I'm extremely excited about. I didn't say really, I said extremely. Now, it's going to be Darius Rush from South Carolina. There's not really many of these on the defensive side of the ball in today's NFL anymore. When you're looking at the secondary, the defensive backs, the cornerbacks, there's not many true shutdown corners in the NFL. And Darius Rush can truly be a shutdown corner, especially if you look at like what he did in the Senior Bowl. He truly has that Richard Sherman type of cornerback in him. 6'2", he's got great size. So I'm extremely excited. I mean, you're looking at him as a 4th, 5th round pick. So you're looking at him and saying, you know, he does have some work to do. But if we can get this man up to speed, you're looking at what the Indianapolis Colts have added into their secondary with Darius Rush, with Juju, and with one of their later picks, Jalen Jones. They're all 6'2" or taller. Jalen Jones is yet another lengthy cornerback with extremely high potential. He's extremely disruptive at the line of scrimmage and a great tackler. So he gives you that mix, kind of like a Troy Polamalu type player that can stop the run as well as stop somebody out in open field and play that cornerback. So you're looking at what the Indianapolis Colts added to their secondary. They desperately needed it around Kenny Moore as they added some size, they added some speed, and they added some athletes. They added 3 very similar cornerbacks to their scheme, and they really needed it. The Colts, we need some help in the secondary. But we're going to be moving back to a couple picks before going into the secondary as well. This is the 4th pick. So we have 3 cornerbacks and a safety with Daniel Scott. And I think if Daniel Scott can impress throughout training camp, throughout minicamp, throughout the preseason, he can really give Julian Blackmon and Nick Cross a run for their money and compete for one of those positions. I really do like Julian Blackmon, but he has left a lot to be desired. Nick Cross, he had a lot of great flashes last year in the little bit that we saw, but he's probably going to get a lot more time this season. So I do think that if Daniel Scott can impress and can compete with Julian Blackmon and Nick Cross, it's only going to make the team better in any way, shape, or form. Now, moving into our last couple picks that we do have that we're going to kind of dive into here, we got Will Mallory, tight end, coming out of Miami, and I'm actually extremely excited about this for multiple reasons. Will Mallory was a plus athlete, and you don't really draft Will Mallory for his blocking ability, kind of like a Mike Gesicki. He's a 3-level threat in the passing game. He can stretch the field. He can play intermediate. He gives me a lot of Dallas Clark vibes. He's very Dallas Clark-esque if Dallas Clark was just a tad more athletic. The man, when you get him in open field, the things he can do while running the ball are very special. Dallas Clark was very similar as well, just not as elusive in the open field, but very sure hands, chain mover, reliable. That's what Will Mallory is going to bring to our team. And I don't think Mo Alley Cox is going to last very long as a tight end for the Indianapolis Colts. You're looking at Jelani Woods and then this Dallas Clark flavored tight end that we just drafted from Miami. I think we have a beautiful 1-2 punch in our tight end room coming up. And you're also looking at Kylan Granson from last year as well. But I think that Will Mallory is our future tight end too for the Indianapolis Colts and a great steal late in the draft. Now, one more pick that we're going to kind of dive into here is going to be Evan Hull, the running back that we drafted. Some Colts fans might look around and say, why the hell would the team with one of the best running backs in the league draft a backup running back? They may forget that we lost Nyheim Hines last year. Now, we did get Zach Moss, but I don't really trust that, that very much. I don't trust Zach Moss a ton. Now, Deion Jackson, he showed a lot of really good stuff last season in the games that we missed Jonathan Taylor, in the games that Nyheim Hines got knocked out with a concussion and after the trade. Deion Jackson did show some really great things, and Evan Hull being added onto the lineup, I think, is only going to make our lineup better. We either have a third reliable running back, or we have somebody that's going to be a true RB2. He's a very tough workhorse running back. He's extremely intelligent. He's got a ton of speed and explosiveness coming out of the backfield and off that line of scrimmage, and he can catch out of the backfield almost at a level of like a Christian McCaffrey. When you looked at what he did in college, the offense very oftentimes ran straight through Evan Hull. He even did a lot of wildcat running as the quarterback. So like I said, he's very intelligent, and he's a workhorse running back. He's potentially what the Cowboys had with Tony Pollard behind Ezekiel Elliott is something we may have with Evan Hull behind Jonathan Taylor. Now, of course, this is a Colts fan talking about Colts draft picks, and eventually Evan Hull may not even make the roster. But if he does, and we're looking at everything with a clear scope in the future, I think Evan Hull can potentially be a lockdown RB2 for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, that's going to do it for the Indianapolis Colts draft. Not all of these videos will be quite this long because the Indianapolis Colts did have some of the most picks in the NFL draft. Another reason why we went them so early. And if you made it this far and haven't dropped your boy a like yet, what do I gotta do to get you to give me a goddamn thumbs up? If you haven't, please make sure you do it. And make sure you also hit that follow button. Hit that notifications bell, hit that subscription, stay in the know. Like I said, we're going through all 32 teams' drafts off season, and we're going to be starting to build our draft day manifestos and getting into your favorite, the fantasy football huddle. Thank you so much for Dank Life Clothing Brand for the amazing products, the amazing merch, the amazing logos, everything that you've been doing for us here at the Huddle Chat Sports Show. Let us know if there's anything we can do for y'all over there. Make sure y'all check out Dank Life Clothing Brand on Facebook. Check out the Huddle Chat Sports Show on Facebook and Twitter. Let me know y'all opinions. Ask me any questions y'all got. And I'm going to get the fuck up out of here, y'all. I'm going to see y'all next time. Holla, baby.